Obviously, being on the stand for HRO, and you also do a lot of their other manufacturers that they sell. The next one is the new Bentley GTC. One thing I find fascinating about the Bentley is the ridiculous amount of buttons they have in the centre console. This thing is amazing. We've got these beautiful sort of very solid doors finished with this sort of very it's like a sort of a, I don't know what it is really, it's plastic finish, but it's very rough, very agricultural stroke military style looking. Huge great big light bar across the top up here, but this material, this finish is everywhere. The whole thing just feels like a big, it feels a little bit like one of them plastic bins they keep standing at the side of the road. But good on them, great. But unlike any other Jeep you know, we've got a full leather interior. We've specially quilted and bespoke leather seats, leather in the centre console, and a bit of extra leather here around the Jeep badge. Looks quite nice. Again, you've got a very small window, and it feels like your head's about to pop out of the roof whilst you're driving. Obviously a much smaller display in this car than you would find in some of the other more modern cars now. But again, this is a Jeep. Automatic gearbox with a proper gear selector. You've actually got gears rather than the newer electronic ones. They just select between gears. So this is a bespoke extra steering wheel. It's not the steering wheel that comes with the car. This one's got the Chelsea logo in it. Different shape, very boxy, very big. It's a large steering wheel actually, to be fair, compared to these tiny little dials for everything else. Light bar, wow. Just switched on the light bar and that's a massive amount of light. Oh, what a motor, what a motor. So I'm now sitting inside the MG. It's nice to see MG here. MG got quite a big stand actually. You've got 3 cars giving out goodie bags. It's a nice little stand. Not expecting the Chinese car manufacturers to be here like this. It's quite a comfortable car. It's the 4x4, it's the sort of the SUV version. So we've got a nice central display, dials. We've got some really nice colouring to it. They've sort of put this red stitching around the steering wheel, which I quite like the look of. We've also got red over the vents. So it's nice red finish to the vents. It's a white car on the outside. But one of the things is, you know, so it's an MG, so it's not exactly going to be expensive to run and definitely not expensive to buy in the first place. So I'm actually quite impressed with this. Don't know what the reliability is like for the manufacturer, but still, it's a nice motor. Well, that's one thing I don't see very often, I've seen here today, is quilting on the inside of your lights in your Mini. So this Mini's actually got quilted lights on the inside of the light behind the lens. Now, one of the things, when I came to the classic car show, I did show some classic cars which have been converted into electric cars. There was a E-Type, which is here today on the same stand now. There was also an MG and a Mini E electric. One thing I didn't expect to see, especially when I got here today, is a Ferrari 308 GTE. So they've taken a normal Ferrari 308, classic car, beautiful car, this is your Magnum Ferrari, and it's been converted into an electric car. If you just looked at the label I've just shown you, the electric car has a faster 0 to 60 time, higher brake horsepower and faster top speed than the original 3.8 litre V8. And of course there's no emissions and no petrol to use. So you've got your Ferrari ball gearstick, so it's still very traditional looking. Everything in the layout's the same. So everything looks and feels the same as your standard Ferrari 308, except for the fact, as I said, it's all electric. This information panel is going to give you all the details for your range, battery power, battery life, less voltage, all that sort of stuff. But you still got your Ferrari badges and your Ferrari feel. And of course, where the pedals would be, you've still got the same uncomfortable driving position, but you've got a throttle pedal and a brake. So it's like an automatic throttle and brake, no clutch. The clutch has been taken out. As I said at the last show when we were looking at the MG, I like the idea that they've taken these old cars and they're going to make them safe for the environment for the future. Another 4x4 or SUV car. This time it's by Ford, and you know, I've always been a fan of Fords. Having sat in this car for a little while, looked at it, compared to some of the other 4x4s I've been in today, this is a fantastic car. Nice dashboard layout, great big steering wheel with all the functions you could ever want on your steering wheel, including paddle shifts. It's automatic. The Jaguar earlier, you've got a selector knob for your gear, so rather than having a gear knob, you've actually got a gear selector. Massive great big display, of course, as always. Really good sound system. Strange little cubby holes in places. The windscreen is massive compared to the others I've seen today. I think you're starting to see on a lot of these cars, there's this massive gap between here and the windscreen, but you've got a better gap here between the mirror and the dashboard. The leather finish on this is just as good a feel to any of the other cars I've seen, including the Jaguar. Another thing you can find in this is a boot is massive compared to some of the others, and you've got a automatic closing boot. I'm quite impressed with this. Of most of the 4x4s I've seen here today, the Ford, one of the better ones. And then you go to the other extreme, which is the new Mustang. New Mustang, again, really comfortable, nice car to sit in, great looking car, beautiful. I love the fact they brought these cars over to the UK in right-hand drive. You see more than you would have ever expected to see on the roads. I never expected them to sell as well as they have been selling, but they're beautiful cars, and I don't blame anybody for buying one. You've got a fantastic layout for the display, touchscreen, digital display for your sat nav, good old fashioned flick switches down here to give you that old retro feel to it. This is actually very comfortable, it's a great feel to it, it's a nice position to sit in. It's actually got a manual gearbox with a very short throw gear lever. Plenty of headroom again though. As with the previous shows, again, there's still people hiring out copycat vehicles or copy cars from the shows. In this case, it's Grease Lightning from the film Grease, of course. Okay, right behind me now you see a beautiful custom-built metallic yellow and black Bugatti Veyron. This is a really, really nice metallic yellow, beautiful colour. They've done it on the engine, they've done it on the sides. The interior is yellow and black. They've even actually done the dials with a sort of a black dial with yellow needles, so it's a very, very well built, very well customised car. This is the newest style MX5 from Mazda. So I have been in an MX5 before. This one does feel a bit more spacious now. I'm not so sure about that they put these multimedia systems in these cars nowadays. They've sort of got this multimedia stack system in the middle, but it doesn't disappear anywhere. It's like a fixed block. BMW started doing it on the 3 Series, and a few other manufacturers have taken it, including Ford on the new Focus. I just don't, I want to hide that unless I need it. I don't like the idea. I think it's a bit weird. Dashboard layout's not so bad. It's still got that old sort of retro look to it, although this display here is a LCD digital display. We have a very full steering wheel, big sensor bit. Again, it looks a bit like a Dodge, a bit bumper carish, a bit big, loads of buttons though. Nice feel to it. It's quite thin. On the Nissan today we have the latest version of the GTR. The GTR has changed a little bit in this newest version. The 2019 model has got a new interior, they've upgraded power, stuff like that, so they've done quite a bit to it. Again, it's essentially the same car because it's a winning Formula car that still works. Why change something that works so well? So here you got this amazing centre console system, massive great big display. If it was switched on we'd see a lot more to it, but otherwise, it's still a beautiful car to sit in. Again, very tight for my fat body. I think people were put off by this when it first came out for its angular size, its shape. The front end looked different, it was a lot different from the R34, but people grew to it and it's a brilliant design. Some of the drawings and designs of the new model look pretty awful. I'm pretty sure by the time it comes out it won't be. It will be a really nice, well designed car. Again, we've got this, I don't like this is what I was saying earlier. I said earlier about the some of the other cars with the display, the new Ford, and again this, the MX5, and this is the Mercedes, it's an AMG Mercedes. This just looks so much like it's been added without any thought. It's in the way. You can't. There's nothing you can do behind it. You can't move it. It's fixed. But I can't see the point in it. I think it personally. I think it looks awful. But you know, somebody somewhere has come up with this as a brand new plan, a great idea. But I don't see it personally. I can't go around talking about all the 4x4s and the large SUVs I've seen here today without coming back to sort of the granddaddy of it all, to Land Rover and the Range Rover stand. This is the new Range Rover Evoque, so they've just updated it. This is the second model. Well, most changes are due to the interior. The interior system very similar to some of the other Range Rovers now in the range. The full-size Range Rover has got, and the Velour, where everything's gone touchscreen, so the centre console. Fortunately, this car's switched off. Everything in here is all sort of touchscreen feel to it. It's all very LCD. Very nice to sit in. It's comfortable. This is still the car, the first car I suppose you think of if you're thinking of the original 4x4s, and this is probably going to be a lot more capable off-road than maybe the Ford or even the Maserati, those sort of cars. So this is the granddaddy of them all. This is the Range Rover. This is the new Range Rover. This is the electric version or hybrid version of it. So it's got a hybrid engine as well as a petrol engine. The feel and the quality of this car is much better than most of the others I've seen in today. Probably all of them I sat in. Maybe barring the Maserati, I'm not so sure, but the feel of this, quality wise, levers, the feel of it is very, very nice. The one thing this car has got again, which is quite annoying, it's very similar to the earlier in the Audi. The nice thing about this one is when you shut the door, the side step disappears on this, so it goes away and hides away, so you're not going to have it out whilst driving, and it's not there, sometimes it doesn't look so ugly. It only comes out when you get out of the car. Even in the full-size Range Rover, you get a full-size glass panoramic sunroof. Goes right back, so your passengers, and in my case will be kids, can see out the back quite comfortably. One thing I do get to do in this one is I can show you the display. So this is the display, which is very similar to the display of all the other cars. I've shown you the other, variants, which including the new Evoque and the large Range Rover. This is the display you get. It's very, very Tesla-like. So Range Rover have decided to give you this amazingly large setup, which is brilliant. I think, you know, it's awesome. You've got loads of different controls for the vehicle, the seats, on two touchscreens. You've got a touchscreen down here, which includes your climate controls, and then your touchscreen up the top here, which includes all your radio controls, navigation, parking sensors, parking cameras. It's just a brilliant system. The one thing you noticed earlier, if you looked in that Bentley, the Bentley convertible had masses of buttons everywhere, which is just way too confusing. This, they've simplified it all with just touchscreens, so which is something a lot of these people have been getting from Tesla, to be fair. The touchscreens also include buttons in the steering wheel. Unfortunately, again, because the car's not on, you can't see that. Turn the radio off and it all goes black. So again, it's a really, really nice, very, very well done display. I'm loving this new display from them, and I think this is probably the way forward for a lot of manufacturers. Okay, so as the motor shows go, it's not as impressive as it was previously in the past. It's very small compared, it's only one hall, whereas the last motor show that they did that I came to here, as I said, about 11 years ago, 12 years ago, maybe 2006 I think it was, and 2008, they were enormous. They were much, much bigger motor shows. They took up the whole place. But you know, it's a day out, it's something to do, get a few bits and bobs, got some freebies. You have a nice little MG hat. Got a little quick fit wibbly wobbly rubber man with a bum. I think I'm going to go for a look around outside because it's still daylight now. It's not like it was in February when it was dark. It's nice and light now. It's just gone 6 o'clock. So I might go and have a wander around outside and maybe possibly have a look on that cable car. We shall see.